Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Former President Jacob Zuma is due back in the Pietermaritzburg High Court tomorrow, but due to his ill health, a postponement to the proceedings now looks more likely. For more, we're joined by Mr. Mzwanele Manyi. He is the spokesperson for the Jacob G Zuma Foundation. A very good morning to you, Mr. Manyi. Thanks for making the time.
Yeah, good morning, Desiree, and good morning to the viewers of SABC. Let's correct something. It's not due to ill health. He was there for an annual medical checkup, and we're just waiting for the results of that. The impression must not be created that on a Friday morning, President Zuma was rushed to hospital because he was ill. That is not the case. He had gone there for a regular medical checkup, and we're just waiting for the doctor's green light for him to be discharged.
Noted. And let me just read this statement that you released on Twitter 2 hours ago. It says, following last night's confirmation by the Department of Correctional Services that President Zuma is still in hospital, the foundation has learned that his and the NPA legal teams are discussing making a joint approach to the judge for a postponement of this week's proceedings in the Pietermaritzburg court. Do we have any follow-up information here?
No, thank you very much for reading that out. That is the situation. I think the only thing that we can update the nation with right now is that indeed both teams of lawyers have been briefed about the medical situation, and they are both going to jointly approach the judge and seek for a postponement. So I think, if truth be told, the business of the court tomorrow will be to deal with the postponement. This is what is at play at this point.
So it's certain that the legal team of Mr. Zuma is asking for a postponement. Are we certain that the NPA is also asking for a postponement?
Both teams are going to make a joint presentation to they're going to make a joint presentation to the judge. So it's not the one team doing this and the other doing something else. It's going to be a joint approach to the judge.
All right. That clarified and out of the way, let's just take you back to another statement you released a day ago. It says the Constitutional Court has issued directives to legal teams of former President J.G. Zuma and the other parties to each submit a 20-page document addressing the international law and constitutional implications on his ongoing detention. And I imagine you might have had interviews on this already, but how far is this process?
Look, the closing date is the 18th of August, and indeed, as we might have already said here before, that we welcome this development. It's a very positive development. It shows that the merits of the argument that our legal team has made is being seriously considered. So we are very hopeful that this is a step in the right direction, and we hope that it will end in a manner that is going to ensure that the supremacy of the Constitution, as we've been arguing, is maintained. And so we are really cooperating with the process, and the closing date is 18th of August, and our legal team is hard at work to make all the weighty submissions to ensure that the rescission application is indeed successful.
I know you clarified at the beginning of this conversation that the request for postponement is not necessarily due to ill health. Are you able to give us some sense as to the former president's state of health?
I think doctors are probably best placed in this. I think the only issue I wanted to clarify is that we don't have a situation where President Zuma had to be rushed to hospital because of ill health. If anybody is saying that, that person is peddling fake news. The situation at hand is that there was a date which was set, whether President Zuma was in prison or not in prison. The date was set for him to go and for his medical checkup. It just so happened that this date now coincides with prison and courts and all of that. It's just an unhappy coincidence and a long weekend in between. It's just an unhappy coincidence. But this date was long scheduled. Whether President Zuma was going to be in prison or not, he would have had to go there. Now the process as you would imagine, those that have gone through these medical processes, is that you would go and do tests and all of this. And now I suspect because of long weekend, the test results are not out and all of that. So the doctor is not able to come back with a clean bill of health and say, I've checked this, I've got this result out, this is the situation. That's what we don't have now. So the correctional services has confirmed that he has not been released from hospital yet. So if doctors are of the view that he must not leave there until they've got results, we've got to live by that.
Of course, we don't know yet if the postponement will be granted or not. Should the proceedings go ahead, does the foundation have any plans in terms of its presence in court?
No, look, it's going to be an impossible situation. You know that we've already crossed this bridge. It's a criminal it's a criminal trial that we are involved with. And we've made this point before, that a criminal trial, the Constitution and the Criminal Procedure Act require that a person must be there in person. So if President Zuma is not there in person, the criminal trial can't proceed. If that happens, it would be unconstitutional. So we hope that there's going to be reasonableness. But I must say that up to now, Judge Kuhn has displayed the utmost balance as a judge. He has displayed the utmost sensitivity and all of that. And we are hopeful that even in this situation, he will see that with the facts at hand, what is the right decision that he must take. And I'm sure he will take the right decision.
Mr. Manyi, thank you so much for your time. I was hoping to get a Happy Women's Day, but alas. Thank you so much.
Sorry about that. Indeed, indeed, you and all others, really Happy Women's Day. And indeed, I must use this opportunity as well to congratulate the Free State for naming Brandford the Winnie Mandela Town and what have you. It's a great day. I think that is the highlight of this Women's Month, that renaming of Brandford. But indeed, all the women out there, and we call on men to behave themselves and stop getting drunk and being irresponsible. So this is a day for women. Let's all celebrate this and make sure that South Africa is a better place. And lastly, before you let me off, I must also raise a concern that women being the majority in this country, and for them not to be reflected in the top echelons of management and leadership in this country, is actually an indictment to all of us, particularly men, because they control these positions. So let's hope that we use this Women's Day to make sure that the women are affirmed and they take their rightful places in society. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for your time. Mzwanele Manyi is the spokesperson for the J.G. Zuma Foundation, and bring us up to speed there about that possible postponement of the case in Pietermaritzburg tomorrow. Meanwhile, National Police